What's going on, Shroot Stack Squad? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, do yourselves a favor, hit that subscribe button, come join the Discord, link in the Patreon below, because we're building wealth out here. None of this is financial advice. Now let me get into this. All right, guys. So today I'm making a video about the top 5 financial, the worst financial decisions you could be making. All right. And let me explain this. You're going to hear people give different answers about this and say, this is the worst thing you can do. This is that's the worst thing you can do, whatever in the middle. Okay. I'm taking this as the worst financial decisions you could do for your wealth. Okay. If you're trying to build wealth, these are the worst things you could do. And there's 5 of them that I had to think of because these are 5 things I've personally done. Well, at least I've seen in my life that has happened. And I want to go in and explain how I've seen this and what the consequences really could be. Okay, so with all that said, let me get into the video, all right? So there's 5 worst financial decisions you could be making. And number 1 here I'm going to be putting is this, okay? The worst financial decision you could do is with your health, guys. Yeah, it's not about trading cryptos. It's not about being stupid with, whatever meme stocks and stuff like that. That's not the worst thing you could do. The worst thing is that you don't give enough priority to your health. Okay. And the reason why I say this, and this is like real money talk as well. Yeah, you want to be healthy and, live long and things like that. Here's the thing I got to explain. What is something that's always preached about the financial markets and things like that? The time in the market is better than timing the market. That's the biggest thing that's always said. The amount of time that you invest is better. You're better off just investing for a long period of time, even if it's an S&P 500 fund, call it a day, than trying to time it at the lowest points and sell it at the highest points, time it and do this and do that. Basically, the stuff I'm doing in my Robinhood challenge here, all right? The time in the market is better off. Guys, you cannot be spending that much time in the market if you're going to be dying early. Do you follow what I'm saying? If you don't spend time eating well, exercise. And honestly, with this, I'm also going to say eating, exercise, and here's another one, mental health, okay? Mental health. This is something that's not talked about enough, but let me explain something. When you're trying to invest and build wealth, and you're trying to do this for your family, you're trying to do it for yourself, who knows, maybe you just want a nice Lamborghini, whatever your reasoning may be for wanting to accumulate money in your life, okay? How can you be motivated to hustle, to grind, to keep on, doing your side hustles, working out and doing all that when you're depressed at home, when you have anxiety running 24/7? In my life, what I've seen is my dad was very good in, managing finances and everything like that. Growing up, I never had to think about money, for the first 15 years of my life. Then he ended up having some mental health issues, and it was basically like bipolar and schizophrenia type of stuff that was going on. Long story short, he ended up taking out a second mortgage on our house. A lot of financial distress happened. The quality of life for him, for my family, and myself. I was just a teenager at the time, but there was enormous fights. There was it was pretty scary at times. What things were being said and what was being done, and how on earth can you be building wealth when you're not taking care of your mental side? Okay, so I'm going to put this thing as, when I say when you don't invest in your health, this is my number 1 thing right there. And my opinion is eating and exercise help promote the mental part. That's why you do it, okay? You also do it, so you can live long and, be happy and healthy and all of that stuff. It's good for your body to, do that. But really, the secondary effect is your mental side, okay? When was the last time that you've been a fat, lazy slob and then were so motivated and driven in life? It really doesn't happen much. Not to say it can't. And there's nothing wrong if that's what you are doing. But I'm trying to say is it's the mind game, okay? So number 1 mistake that people do is they don't invest into their health, okay? Number 2 financial issue that the biggest financial mistake you could do. I'm trying to think of a good way to term this, but I want to say relationship-wise. Okay. Who you decide to be with. Now, when I say relationship stuff, I know some of my followers here are they're pretty young. They're 15, 16, even you're early on. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make as big of a difference if you spend, $15 on your girlfriend in high school and then, she breaks up. Okay, $15 loss, whatever, lesson learned from that. I'm talking more or less the long-term relationships here, long-term relationships, and, serious commitments like that. Because here's the thing, when you decide to get into a relationship with someone, okay, this is serious relationships we're talking, you are not just fooling around with each other at that point. You are now financial partners in a sense, okay? I understand, there's some couples that do, they split the bills 50-50, even if they've been married, whatever period of time. Vast majority of the time, though, the finances end up being merged, the lifestyles end up getting merged, the belief systems end up getting merged, and everything like that. And that's where I really want to hone in on, the belief system. Guys, I don't care who you are, how strong-minded you may be to be so much into investments and being on your journey and grinding and working so hard to build this whole thing up. If you end up spending a majority of your time with someone who has the exact opposite mentality, someone who doesn't take care of themselves, someone who wants to spend, someone who is much more on like that YOLO lifestyle, I'm just going to spend the money because I have it, they're not into savings and doing this, it doesn't make a difference how strong-minded you are going to adopt some of their habits. It's human nature. There's that saying that, you're basically the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with and stuff like that. Okay, I'm not here to speak so much wisdom because I'm not there's people who know much more on this, but I'm about to be 28 years of experience on earth, and I can tell you that is 110% true. Who you end up spending time with, you will end up taking up some of their habits. Of course, they're going to take up some of your habits, but understand that's something that's going to happen, okay? And the second thing is, relationship-wise, if you decide to commit with someone who does not see finances the same way that you do, this is then going to tie back into stress. And you want to know what's the biggest reason for divorces in America? It's finances, okay? Finances can cause a huge chunk of stress for a lot of people, and especially in relationships. And that sort of like relationships, let's say you're struggling with work and you're not, able to make much money, and you have this bill, that bill, this thing. And now you have complaints happening at home, okay? This is what leads to depression, guys. This is truly, people end up taking their lives because of this, okay? Let me tell you something. People don't just commit suicide for, because they're just plain and simple, they're just sad. It's the fact that they end up feeling that they have no other escape, okay? So if you end up picking the wrong partner, right, and you end up having stress at work, you have stress at home, you have stress everywhere in between, the only place you find sanity is on your drive there and back. You follow what I'm saying? You feel trapped. And this truly, how on earth can you go from this sort of position into like this is going to correlate 100% back into the mental side. Okay? I've not been married or had any of that stuff yet, but I've had a long-term relationship before, and when that thing started going, having some trouble and stuff like that, I noticed my mental health was going down. Any type of stress like that, that's not good. Look, guys, we're only on earth for however many years, God put us here. Okay. We only have so much time. Time is the only thing that we have. Okay. And spending that time stressed, not building your wealth and not doing this, not achieving the goals that you want, you're going to end up on your deathbed one day and you're going to say, what did I do in this life? And I mean, it's nice if you love the partner and everything like that, but understand, pick the partners correctly. This is more so advice for my, little bit older viewers. I'd probably say anyone who's like, whatever, later 20s and stuff, or early 20s if you want to be. This is one source of stress like that. And then the last thing, the easiest way you can see how relationships can be a bad financial mistake, divorce. I don't know if I need to talk much more on this one. I haven't been divorced, but I've seen some of my friends. They got married when they were very young they got married when they were like 21. Long story short, they ended up divorced. Half the stuff they've been building towards and things like that, it ended up getting, split. It's not the end of the world, guys, if you end up with a divorce. It's just how you recover from it, okay? I want to say this. When it comes to all of this stuff, though, you know, yeah, it's a bad financial mistake, but there's a lesson to be learned from this. And that's what I really want to hone in on, that you take the positive aspect on it, that you learned a lesson. What have I been preaching this whole entire time on this channel, guys? This entire time we've been having that market correction and this and this. Take it as a lesson, okay? Take it as a lesson, and that's fine. And that's what life is all about. When you were first born, and you wanted to walk, how many times do you think you fell? Ask your parents. So many times. But eventually, you got the idea that, hey, if I put my foot in this position, if I balance like this, if I do this, I can start to walk. You learn from the mistakes and you moved on. And that's the key I want to hone in on, all right? So first two mistakes, biggest financial mistakes, health, relationships. Number 3, biggest financial mistake you could do is this, guys. You're surprised. None of this stuff is having to do with stocks yet, all right? This is nothing to do with stocks yet that you can make the mistakes on. Because remember, this channel is about building wealth. I'm not here to try to win the lottery, okay? So, third one that you could be doing, having no skill or backup or trade, let's say that. Okay? Having no skill or trade. Because I'm going to tell you something. No matter what happens in life, even if you have $5 million in the bank, you have all of this stuff, okay? You cannot predict life. Who could have predicted what happened in 2020? All right? Who could have predicted that? No one, okay? We cannot predict any of this stuff. And when stuff goes wrong, okay, you need to have a backup in life, okay? It doesn't matter if, at the very least, let me explain something to you. When you're deciding, this is especially key for my college folks. This is like beyond just college. Anyone, if you're not going to college too, if you're 18 really, anyone who's 18 and older, okay, this is who this is geared towards. When you're 18, you have a decision to make. Do I go to college? Do I do a trade? Or do I just like whatever? I don't even know. Some people literally just don't even progress after that point. You need to be learning to pick up a skill or a trade, okay? I'm telling you this because stuff will go wrong, all right? Right now I'm in medical school, right? My undergrad major was not in fish poetry or something stupid. I did it in engineering, guys. I did this for a reason because, I did engineering because that was my initial goal of what I wanted to go for, and then I, made a career switch later on. But let's just say right now, everything hits, crap hits the fan, right? I lose my entire stock portfolio, forget the Robinhood, like my real portfolios, all my investments, everything goes to trash. Real estate goes to trash. My medical school goes to trash. Everything goes to garbage. I still have a backup. You see what I'm saying? And eventually, let's just say engineering goes south. I've learned so many skills along the way. You see, it's the mindset that you gain in doing all of this. That can't go away, guys. The mindset will not go away. And this is really what I want to hone in on, guys. You cannot predict this stuff. And I know it may sound cool to just, day trade all day long and do this and do that. There's a reason not every person is day trading and succeeding. Majority will not be doing it. Why would you think you would be an exception? I find it so crazy that, when you hear statistics that 95% of patients failed on this sort of thing, we automatically think we're going to be in the 5% who succeed. Just go with the majority, all right? Anyway, that's the third biggest thing I've seen, not having a skill or trade. So, and this doesn't have to be college, doing engineering. You don't need to go to college. Okay, I'm not going to go off on a rant about college, but go to college to get a bachelor's in a field that you can make money in. That's my one advice, okay? Go to college to get a degree in a field that you will make money, okay? Not in the grad school you plan to go to, not in whatever field you're thinking. Look up right now, what's the salary of the major I'm in, and what can I do with it, okay? And now, if you don't want to go to college, that's perfectly fine too. Look up the skill or trade that you're trying to go into. If you're trying to go in for electrical work, I have a friend who's right now doing HVAC work. This guy, he's making a crap ton of money. This guy's making over 6 figures, running his own business right now. He started out with working under a contractor that he knew and then just built it out from there. And, he's my age. I grew up with this guy. He didn't go to college, and he's doing an amazing job like that. If you want to go into real estate, another thing. Guys, the reason why I say all this is because when stuff goes south, you want to have something in place, all right? Okay, fourth biggest mistake you could make is not investing. This is garbage handwriting. Let me try to erase this. Okay, not investing early, okay? And especially in an IRA, okay? I'm going to preach this. I know that there's people, you could have made a lot of money in GameStop and biopharma plays and Tesla and this and that. I get it, guys. But when you're starting out, you need to plan for retirement, okay? I don't care if you're 50, if you're 15 and watching this, that's great. Just plan for your retirement, okay? I know right now that's the last thing anyone wants to talk about. It's not the most attractive topic, but the sooner you can think of retirement, the more money you can make and the better off you will be. Again, this channel is geared towards wealth. Wealth is generational. It's not momentary, okay? If you want to make a quick buck, go play the lottery, all right? Go play the lottery and see how that plays out, all right? I'm here to teach wealth, and my opinion, starting out with an IRA, I personally, and I understand people do different day trades and things like that because there's tax advantages, and I'm fine with that, and I'm perfectly fine with people using an IRA for that. But what I really do want to see is just doing a basic, at least this is what I do, you don't need to copy it, but just doing a basic S&P 500 fund. And I'm not going to go too much into this. I'm going to actually make a separate video on an IRA and how I set it up and what to go for, about all of that, what brokerage I use and all of this, because yeah, I started late on an IRA. You see, no one was here to teach me all of this, guys. All of this stuff I'm showing you, I've seen it in my life firsthand, and or I've gone through it myself, and I've seen the consequences of this stuff. So I didn't invest in an IRA until I didn't even know what the hell it even stood for, to be quite honest, back when I was like 20. I had no clue what the hell this was. So you guys are lucky you have YouTube and all these things right here, but that's my fourth biggest advice. Worst thing you could do financially, all right? So we have health, not paying attention to your health, messing up in relationship stuff. Number 3 is not getting a skill or trade. Number 4 is not investing early, specifically in an IRA. And then the 5th worst thing you could do, okay? And this is gonna tie into a lot. Too much ego. Okay, too much ego when you invest, all right? What this means is trying to think you can day trade, play options, and go into all of these different things when you've only been in the market for like 6 months. And you start out, okay, it's one thing you do 6 months and that's all you know. And then you start out with like whatever, 50% of your money. That doesn't make a difference whether let's say your net worth is only $1,000, but you invest 500, 50% is 50%, and that's the reality. And this is where you have too much ego because you made some good plays. You see people making a crap ton of money online and doing this and doing that. Humble yourselves, guys. Please humble yourselves. All right. This is where people get hurt with having too much ego. And this is where I talk about the whole penny stock chasing and the whole FOMO thing. All of this stuff goes down. And this, in my opinion, is the 5th worst financial decision you could make. Sorry about that. That's the 5th worst financial decision you could make, because this is where you start getting burned, and this is where you really end up learning. And I'm telling you this, okay, I'm telling you this because I've probably made, like I'm saying, I've made the mistakes in almost all of these things. I've either made the mistakes or I've seen it like in my family itself, like directly firsthand. This is like one of the too much ego. You guys don't think I had that when I first started? 110%. Anyone new in the market will tell you that they've all done penny stocks and options and day trades and all of this stuff. And there's a reason they don't do it as much right now. It's because eventually you end up getting hurt. And that's okay. But remember what I said before. Lesson. It is a learning lessons. And that's why this channel exists, because I'm here to teach you all the mistakes I've made and all the lessons I've learned along the way, so you don't have to lose money, because I've already lost it and I've learned what has worked for me and what has not. And the key is here, I'm not the smartest investor you'll ever meet. What I think I do have though is risk to reward. Okay, that's the key. That's the key that I've learned in all of this stuff. Okay, All right, guys. I think I made this video long enough. I have a lot to say on all these topics, but anyways, like I always say at the end of the videos, stay happy, stay healthy. Let's get wealthy. All right, take care.